Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, CeeChronicles here, back again with another fragrance video. If you're joining this channel for the very first time, I post fragrance related content on this platform and would very much appreciate it if you did decide to come on board by subscribing. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. Kindly check out my second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted, where I focus on vlogs and Western fragrances. The link to that channel is in the description of this one. Now, the description, guys, is not where I describe the name of the perfume of the day that I'll be talking about. The description is actually at the top of the page where you'll see my photograph and it says CeeChronicles-Talking. Since there's going to be two links below that. One's going to take you to CeeChronicles Unscripted and a second one is going to take you to a PayPal donate page in case you want to contribute anything towards the support of this channel. Now, welcome to today's video. I have with me here Lattafa's niche Emarati Vintage Castle. This is a fragrance I held up on bringing a review because I thought it might change. But I think by now, considering that I hold it in the beginning of or the end of January, I think by now it has pretty much communicated, right? So this is going to be the packaging. The reason why I did not put the bottle in there is the bottle is so heavy, guys, that when you put it in there and you take it out, it kind of takes out the entire bottom. So this is the bottle. I'm going to give you a close-up in a bit. I'm just going to close this and show you how it's going to show up. So it's going to be this box inside this box. Now that is the presentation of Niche Emarati's Vintage Castle by Lattafa. As for the bottle now, for those who want the close-up, okay, this is how it looks. Very, very heavy bottle. Whatever it is they put to build this makes a very heavy bottle. It kind of feels like a kilo, right? So I'm going to spray this fragrance, guys, on the tester paper, right? On this tester paper, just a few sprays of this will suffice because it is quite a strong fragrance there. This is a patchouli bomb, okay? So we're talking about Vintage Castle, this particular one, right? It lists notes of greens at the top, patchouli and iris, and then the heart is patchouli again and mimosa, and the base of this is patchouli again, marshmallow and civet. So do expect a triple dose of patchouli, guys, in Vintage Castle. And true to that, I think these notes are probably accurate, okay, because Lattafa has a tendency of throwing us off here and there. What I do maybe perceive that may have been omitted is maybe a ginger there and maybe a bergamot or lemon there, but that just could be my nose, because this presents as a very green type of scent where just by saying patchouli, 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 it could just outright be patchouli, patchouli, patchouli. Okay, so do not purchase this one because I do suspect there is a ginger in here, right? Opens up as a very spicy, green, aromatic, woody, herbal, minty type of fragrance. So you have got to love that green wrap up of a fragrance in this. It even gives off like a vegetal kind of DNA in this fragrance, guys. So not a common one, right? If I'm to talk about an offering that Lattafa has given us that kind of aligns with this, I'm going to say Antifacat. But that particular one didn't really make a lot of noise on the internet. So if you haven't smelled that, then I'm going to give you what I feel this fragrance draws this inspiration from based on the notes, right? I think this one is inspired or kind of draws inspiration from Virtue's Soul Patchouli, or another fragrance that's often likened to Virtue's Soul Patchouli, which is Unique Luxury Crush on Me, right? So those two fragrances are usually said to share a lot of similarities. However, let me say, when it comes to Crush on Me by Unique Luxury, that one seems to be caramel forward, which is something that is lacking in this. I do not get a sweetness, guys, from this fragrance. Rather, I get a very green toned fragrance there. There is wafts of a powderiness there, but I wouldn't say purchases for powder. Okay, so it's not like a very distinct powdery type of DNA. There is an underlying thing there. It's going to maybe come across as a wrap up of something that feels medicinal, something that feels like a disinfectant. This is just something that I perceive because I've been trying this. I tried it on my skin, I tried it on my clothes, and I tried it on the curtains. And I did realize that you kind of have like a medicinal thing happening in your room. But mental shortcut, this is going to feel like You walking into like a herbal store even. I remember walking into a holistic herbal store in China where they had a lot of green things, that were selling there. Menthol like, eucalyptus like, minty like, that is what you're going to get. So the patchouli in here, guys, interprets as leafy, green, minty, with a tone of earthy, even rooty there. That is the DNA that I get in this fragrance. So this is definitely not a blind buy safe type of DNA. It is marketed as unisex, but I'm going to say outright the DNA may be easier for men than it is for women, right? Unless you do like very green, aromatic or patchouli forward fragrances. If you're a woman, I'm going to say test this. Even if you're a man, I'm going to say test it nonetheless, because it is quite a challenging DNA there. And do not make the mistake that I made, because I purchased this one after noticing the notes of marshmallow and mimosa. The mimosa in here, if it all it is in here, is not honeying this fragrance at all. I do not get like a honey wrap up in this fragrance, and the marshmallow is something that I'm not getting at all. So, when I purchased it, I kind of had a mental shortcut because I didn't get the time to go physically to the store to spray this, because most of the niche Emaratis are not very accessible to, let's say, spray. So you are going to have to just use your mental shortcut and blind buy. So I blind bought this, reading those notes and thinking, okay, Lattafa does throw us off from time to time, but if by any means or chance this one has marshmallow, I'm most likely gonna like it. But let me say this, I do not get a marshmallow or a sweet tone here at all. Okay, so this actually interprets as fresh, with a slightly powdery tone around it, but very aromatic and minty there. This has got a beastly lasting power, guys. To bring it closer to home, I'm gonna say I might add it to my will. I don't see myself finishing this. I don't see this, as a fragrance that I'm gonna run through, because it is quite challenging there. It is quite piercing there. To call it heavy is going to be individual specific, because for some people that freshness is something that's going to draw them in and they're going to like that a lot. But for some, it is the same, freshness that's going to repel them. So I'm not sure, whether to say it's very, very challenging, but I'm going to speak for myself and say a DNA done like this, to me, is one that I would class, as challenging. It's one that I have to think of before I spray. If I have to spray this, it's one that I have to go slow for myself as well as the people around me, because it does have that potential to annoy, even the people around you. Say you enjoyed this DNA a lot. If you're going to bathe in this, you're likely going to maybe even annoy people. I mean, imagine yourself walking into a room that is full of like medicinal concoctions, green leaning there, herbal, very green, very fresh, very leafy, and you smelling that the whole day. It just depends on whether it is a pleasant smell to you or it is a smell that, okay, I'm going to smell it, but I want to get out of here, if you know what I mean. So it does come across as one of those mixtures there that, if you're African, it's a concoction that they would give you maybe to treat something like you had this horrible cough or something like that, and your mother mixes some of these greens and then interpret to something like, you're smelling like this, oh, I will be healed by this because this is strong. Okay, so that's basically what I can say, guys, about Vintage Castle, marketed unisex. But I'm going to say do test this one first, unless you do like, of course, those aromatic fragrances. The patchouli is doing the most. It doesn't, scream as something that would give a headache to my nose, but it just screams as something that could potentially be annoying, even to the wearer. Say you did like 20 sprays of this, you might find yourself regretting why you did. So because it does project a lot. I sprayed this one on my curtains day 1, day 2. I think it eventually went completely away day 3. That's how this scent profile kind of lingers there. So you're gonna get compliments, especially if people like this type of scent on you, and it's definitely gonna be value for money. I see myself just needing this bottle and that's it. I am not going to declutter this like I did with Antifa. I'm not saying they're the same fragrance. I'm just saying they vibe the same. I'm not gonna declutter because I said I do want the collection in its entirety, so that maybe me. When I've stopped doing fragrance reviews, I can then look back at that and say, these are the Lattafas that were left in my collection. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we'll obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on this fragrance, guys. Do you like it? Do you like the explanation that I gave you? Is it something that you want to purchase? In terms of it being a work of art, I would say it is. If you love that DNA, you are not going to be disappointed by this. So it's going to be value for money if you love that type of DNA, but it's going to be strange if you are into sweet, girly fragrances, because that is not the vibe I get. Do turn on post notifications, guys, on both my channels. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Meanwhile, like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.